Good morning. This is episode 1 of the podcast for season 1 of Titz, Brewvivor, Tyranny of Greyface. I am your host, Witch Titz, and this is my amazing co-host, Rello.
Hello. Alright, so we haven't done any of the podcasts. We've been intending to do it ever since the season started, really, but there just hasn't been a chance to, really. So we have a lot to go through today.
Yes, and I'm very, very excited. There's lots to talk about, lots of tea, lots of drama that happened, lots of advantages that's been found.
Oh boy. Oh yeah, the advantages. I can't even remember where everything is at this point. That's gonna have to be something we're gonna have to look up while we're going. But yeah, we'll definitely have to look at that. And I guess the first thing on the agenda is the obvious thing, because we're right at merch right now as we're recording this. Merch happened last night. So
Yep, not even a full 12 hours ago.
No. So the primary thing we're going to go through right now is pre-merge.
Yes.
And pre-merge was kind of insane, even though the thing is the votes were very unan for most of the pre-merge, but that doesn't mean all of them were easy.
Yeah, that's very true. Like, let's go back to, just to start off, episode 1 and episode 2 were very simple, straight to the point votes. Everyone just straight piled on to Steph and Ladner. Now for episode 1, it was a 9-1 vote, meaning that Steph got 9 of the votes, Credible got 1, and Taku got 1. Ladner got straight ratioed, and it was 10-1. Things didn't really break up any until Sierra's vote, but we did have a medevac in between episode 2 and 4, so that sucked. But 4 got wild because we had a double elim, so
That's true.
That was definitely fun to watch unfold.
For sure. Alright, we're gonna talk about Sierra's vote out and all that a bit more in detail as we go down the list and we start to rank our pre-mergers and then later go on to our current people in merge that are still in the game.
Yep.
So, right, so let's start with Steph then. What do we think about Steph?
Alrighty. See, based on what I know, I feel like Steph was potentially robbed. I feel like they were just really busy overall with the org and then their own schedule outside of it, and I think they got screwed by their schedule personally. Since they were the first boot, I would probably have to rank them kind of low.
Yeah, we just didn't see much of Steph, really. Who knows? Maybe Steph would have been able to pick it up. But from what we can saw, there really wasn't a lot to see with Steph, like you said.
Mm-hmm.
Where's the pronoun list? Oh god. Wait, hold on.
Here.
Oh yeah, it's a marooning, I think, right?
Here, I got you. Hold on.
Oh yeah, there it is. So, Steph uses sheer. Alright, that's fine then. So, with Steph, it's just, who knows if Steph would have been able to pick it up, but we just didn't see much, because like you said, she just got fucked by her schedule, and it was just, there was really nothing that could be done. She was just inactive. There isn't really much to say about it.
I hope to see her back in the future season, honestly. Excuse me. I would love to see Steph in her natural environment of her normal chaotic self. Asking her to play. I had a lot of high hopes for her. I thought she was really going to come in here and do something big.
I'll take your word for it, as I have actually never seen Steph play before. So
right.
Yeah, that I'll take your word for it. Do you know which picture here is Steph's? Is Steph the dog?
Steph is the dog.
Alright, so Steph was a pre-merger, unfortunately, and I'm unsure if you agree, and we're gonna have to like talk more as we go down the list, but I'm honestly inclined to say Steph, due to the nature of her boot, which is, inactivity, and also the boot being like 24 hours after the start, pretty much. Like 40 hours. There really isn't much to say, and I can't in good conscience rank Steph over pretty much anyone, so I unfortunately think that Steph is going to be the lowest ranked player for this season, both in like gameplay and also in actual ranking, because there just isn't a lot to say or see. It doesn't mean that Steph by any means did anything wrong. It was just circumstances, and that sucks, but it happened.
Yeah.
So yeah, next boot, Ladner.
Old Quackers.
Old Quackers, fucking duck, man. Fucking duck.
Greyface hates ducks.
Greyface hates ducks. We don't deal with ducks. That's why Ladner got booted so early.
Yeah, definitely. It's because Greyface wanted it.
Yeah. Alright, so Ladner's this traumatizing duck right here. That's,
Yep.
Yeah, Ladner, what can we say?
It didn't really surprise me that he went so quickly. I figured that Ladner was either A, going to go very quickly, or B, make it stupidly far. I didn't feel like there was going to be, like, any in between there with Ladner, to be honest.
Ladner is a bit known for being a chaotic cockroach, pretty much. He pulls the stupidest bullshit and gets away with it for some reason. We have another version of this in this season at the moment, which we're gonna get to. I think you know who I'm talking about.
Yeah.
So Ladner's it's unfortunate. I personally had very, very high hopes for Ladner, because I've seen him play. I played with him. He's a very entertaining person, and he's also not really. He's always treading that fine line between, like, he's not an asshole, but he's also a very entertaining, chaotic player. Like, he's not painful to play with. He's just, chaotic, and that's fine.
Yeah, he's not, like, too much to deal with, but he definitely can be a handful if you're not, like, used to a chaotic player like him. Like you've said, I've also played with him before, and I know what he's capable of. The most entertaining part of him, for the whole 2 episodes that he was in, was him towards the end when he started literally fighting for his life and trying to flip the vote. That was interesting, to say the least.
Can't even remember that happening, I'll be honest. It was such a long time ago. Do you remember who he tried to flip it on?
Grass.
Oh. Well, grass, yeah, okay. Fair enough. But yeah. I do think...
That's the start of grass.
Yeah. Once again, I don't think we can, in, like, good conscience, put Ladner below Steph, but also don't think we can put Ladner above anyone else. Because just of the nature of his boot, once again, which was partially AFK. And also, it was so early. There was really nothing to say. And, we can't really rank him on what we know he's capable of. He's great.
Versus
but in
what
this,
he actually did.
Yeah, it's unfortunate. That's all we can really say about it.
Yeah, it really is. I hope that he gets the rest that he needs, and I hope to see him back in future seasons, and I hope he redeems himself entirely.
Oh yeah, for sure. I'm gonna be harassing this guy.
Oh yeah, me too.
He's gonna be playing again, guys. Take our word for it. It's happening. Right. So, next onto the list, we have Jar. Now, this just made me sad.
Yes. This Jar vote kind of didn't make much fucking sense to me, to be honest. Because at this point in time, Grass was still really, really, really inactive, and that may be because of work or because of just other substantial reasons. But, at this point in time, well, I can't even talk about that yet, but I will just say that I personally, if I had been in the game, I would have shot for Grass. I don't think I would have shot for Jar. Jar was more active than Grass.
I mean, what is you can talk about? Is it the reason why Jar got voted off? Because I don't think there's anything that's really off limits in the podcast. Because, like, obviously, the players aren't going to be able to see it until after the season.
Yes.
And the people that are already booted, well, they're not gonna be able to do anything with information anyway. So I think you just say whatever you want to say, like uncensored, because there isn't really any information that's gonna harm the game.
I don't know what really truly I don't know what went wrong for Jar.
I do know what went wrong for Jar.
You do?
It starts with a C and ends with an A.
That's true. Yes.
Yeah.
And her name is Sierra. Sierra happened to a good bit of people before she bit the dust.
Actually, I think Jar or Ladner, I think both of those people were the only two people who really bit the dust, because Sierra is the next boot.
Yep.
But yeah, we're gonna talk about that anyways. But yeah, Jar, what happened with Jar, I believe, was that Sierra wanted to keep Grass around. Even though Grass was inactive, Jar was also very inactive.
I forgot. Yeah, that was a choice.
Yeah, so Jar and Grass were both very inactive, but Grass almost a bit more so than Jar, at least from a production member's perspective. And Sierra, for some reason, had been forming some sort of bond with Grass, more so like, in Sierra's own words, it was more of a, I want him to get to merge so he's a jury vote for me. Actually, sorry, my bad.
Yeah.
I want them to get to merge so they're a jury vote for me. And
that was just that. I mean, like, honestly, from my standpoint, I get Sierra entirely in that sense, but it wasn't worth it, because
it wasn't worth it. It was way too early.
Yes.
This was like, keep in mind, this is like final 19, final 20.
Yeah.
Like, we're talking early here, and the season started at 22. Like, this was only the third vote, and she was playing hard.
This is F20, and you know what? If it really meant that big of a deal to Sierra, she should have done it quietly. First off, you don't flat out come out and been like, "Oh, I'm saving this person because they're my goat." Like, it doesn't work. Sold your game out. You sold your game out so fucking quickly, and MILF, Jude, and Typo were like, absolutely the fuck not. And I don't blame them. I would have shut that down too.
Yeah, and that, I think that kind of brings us into, Grass is going to be ranked over Ladner, but under whoever else, just because, we can't really... I mean, I guess this might be a D tier instead, because I don't think we can really... For the next person, if we're ranking characters and not win chances, but also kind of similar, then
honestly,
I don't think we can really rank it pre-mergers. Oh, no, this is not Grass. Fuck, it's Jar.
Yeah,
Jar, there it is. There. Right? That's Jar?
Yeah, that's fine. We can definitely do pre-merge as well. This is even really pre-swap. This isn't even pre-merge. This is pre-swap.
So, this is pre-swap, but I also think we can't really rank it by pre-merge, because there are some characters that went in pre-merge, such as Sierra, that just had so much more potential, and they definitely are D tier,
Yep. They just played a little too hard right off the get, and Sierra actually would have went so fucking far if she just would have manipulated a little better. If she just been a
little bit more subtle. That's really all it was. If she was just a little bit more subtle.
A little bit more cleaner with the crime scene, and she would have been fucking golden. Sincerely fucking golden. Like, she could have steamrolled.
Yeah. But speaking about Jar then, just as a note, because we talked a lot about Sierra and the reason why Jar went out, but really, Jar was just such a sad boot for me, especially because we approached Jar as the season started, being very excited to see them play, and actually see him play. I'm just getting everyone mixed up. Sorry, I have a list and it's very hard to search. Yeah, so
it's early in the morning.
It's early in the morning for you, and it's like I just got home from school for me. So, so with Jar came out of retirement for this season, and it was just very unfortunate. Once again, this is just a prime example of a great orc player getting cucked by having a job. So, good job, Jar, for having a job, but fuck you, Jar, for having a job. Why did you have to have a job right now?
I tried to get an all-adult cast so that maybe things like that wouldn't happen, so that people weren't getting pagonged because they're busy with work.
But also, I do think that there's like a limit.
Yeah, I do think there's a limit as well, and I think that Jar may have tiptoed a far too long on the other side. So
yeah,
it was a tragic vote out for me. Truly, it was. I had a lot of high hopes for Jar.
Yeah, the production was crying when Jar went out. That's all we're gonna say about it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Right. Next person up is technically Bryce, and I'm almost inclined to put Bryce below Jar, and I think this is the first person why. And here's why. Right.
Right.
Bryce medevaced, but didn't actually technically medevac.
Yes. He didn't really say much. He just kind of was like, this challenge is a lot, and then 5 minutes later, he left a server, and I was like, okay, alrighty, yeah, and then I had to reach out to him to get more information on that. I'm not gonna like go into detail about like why the person left exactly.
Yeah, but it was just like an unfortunate medevac, and it just
yep.
You know, like personally, I can respect the medevacs for any reason, right? But it's just the lack of communication for me.
Yep. It was unprofessional to say the least.
Yeah, but with Bryce, I want to put him under Jar because in the end, you know, we're not going to judge circumstances, but Jar also didn't really do anything wrong. It was just Sierra.
Yeah. So like if we were to compare gameplay versus activeness versus challenges and how the person presented themselves in the game, definitely Jar tops Bryce in my opinion.
Yeah, so I do think that this is the order for now. I mean, you can see it as well, right, Witch?
Yep. Yeah, I'm watching.
So I think this is it. I think these people are all still D tier because they had a lot of inactivity going on. So absolutely. I definitely don't think that they're like higher than that. But
I might contest the Sierra, honestly. Sierra might
for sure. That's why I was talking about we need to change that from pre-mergers because I don't feel fine putting Sierra in a D tier.
I don't either. I feel like she's definitely better than D tier.
Sierra was ruling her fucking... Well, not ruling, maybe. She was getting ruled a little bit as well. But she was in a pure power position in every single vote before episode 4.
I agree. Her, Jude, Typo, and and a little bit of MILF. MILF was just kind of a middle of the road person and just got kind of roped in with the leaders, I feel like, because you 100% cannot deny that Typo, Jude, and Sierra were just steam-rolling Rune. Like, people were just, like, rolling over like dogs. Like, it was crazy.
Yeah. And as we've already talked about, Sierra's fatal mistake was saving grass in the Jar vote out and being very aggressive about it. And also the fact that I do think Sierra did not have a vote during her own tribal, which was in episode 4. Didn't. And the fact that she also she broadcasted that fact to her tribe was also probably a fatal mistake. And also some of the ways I know for a fact that some of her allies, for example, I think Typo and Jude, did not appreciate both the openness about not having a vote and also that she was trying to manipulate them very clumsily, I will say, because it was not subtle at all, into saving grass over... I don't even know who the other person on the block was.
Jar and Grass?
No, because Jar was already voted out at this point.
Oh,
Grass was supposed to be the boot on the Sierra vote as well, but Sierra wanted to save him.
Well, actually, if you remember, whenever the Chaos Fish happened and Sharky and Dom got swapped, fucking Sierra was like, oh, like, let's just gun for Dom. Like, that's an easy vote. And then, the other part of the advantage was revealed that they're immune. They're fucking immune.
Yeah.
So they couldn't vote for Dom or Sharky. And that was necessary.
That was
honestly.
real necessary because both Dom and Sharky would have gotten like
Would've
straight
been-
up
would've
slit
bit.
throated. Yeah, they would have bit the dust immediately there. And
Yep.
you know, that's just
Both of
part
them were
of it.
immediately in danger. Everyone in their confessionals immediately in their one-on-ones were like, this is so good, this is so easy. We can just really easily just vote them out. They have no ties. No one, we're all solid here. Like,
Yeah. So it was not looking good for a second there for them, but we got your back. We're not gonna cuck you that badly.
Yeah.
But yeah, with
We all
Sierra,
get shafted.
it's just I think what happened there was Dom and Gengar were the two people they were like, oh, we should vote them out, right?
Mhm.
And then Sierra, I don't remember who Sierra pushed for to save grass, but what ended up happening there was
Milf.
just
Milf.
Oh, MILF. Right, so Sierra was pushing for MILF to save grass. And people did not appreciate that. And she was also, the problem was also she was like saying, oh, you know, I want to save grass, but I also don't have a vote, so I can't have an opinion, but I also have an opinion. So it was just very weird.
It really, really was. And honestly, it was kind of funny how even Grass was like, I'm not voting MILF. Like,
Yeah.
I get you're trying to save me, but I'm not voting MILF.
Yeah, for real. And the thing is also, like, I think Sierra's just a prime example of how power's really fickle in orgs and in Survivor.
Mm-hmm.
You can be in a great position and one misstep and you're out. This was more of a series of missteps relating to one fundamental idea. But
Yep.
I definitely think Sierra was, I think, the first person to really stage her own vote out.
I 100% agree. I feel like Sierra made her bed and then had to lie in it.
Yeah, and it's just, I don't think she realized just how badly the bed was made before they got
Yeah.
there. That bed was not looking good.
Yeah, she had a single feather mattress and she kept stuffing little peas under it.
Yep.
And, you know, we all know that doesn't end well.
Yeah. So yeah, Sierra is definitely a C tier, because Sierra, let's face it, Sierra got booted very early from her own mistakes, right? But she was a prime character pre-merge.
Yep,
Absolutely, and would have been a prime character in the merge or in the swap as well, if they had actually, you know, gotten further. Like, if she had gotten further. There we go.
Mm-hmm. I agree. Next, well, in the same episode, we have
Coco.
Elam. So Coco got voted out. Coco got ratioed. It was between Coco and Taco. And
but the Taco was more, it was just Coco's vote, so it doesn't really say anything. It's just,
yeah.
Obviously Coco's not gonna vote for herself.
Obviously, no one's gonna self-vote like that.
Yeah. Like, no one's gonna roll over like that badly, and if you do, then that's just kinda...
Yeah. Ew.
I don't really know what to say about Coco. I do think that the only reason Coco survived the other two episodes, being as inactive as she was just the fact that Hex didn't lose.
Yep, I agree. I think that Coco stayed as long as she did, for that reason alone.
Yeah, there really isn't much to say about Coco. Coco's just very inactive. She was forming some really good bonds and was a pleasure to watch and to talk to, but
yeah, she had really nice confessionals.
She didn't have enough connections with other people.
I agree 100%. Like you said, it was just an unfortunate case of not being active enough. That's just all there was to it.
Yeah, and yeah, I don't know what else to say about Coco. I do think we should place Coco in D tier, but above Jar.
I agree with that 100%.
Because Coco in the end lasted longer than Jar. Coco was less inactive than I'd say all of these other people, except maybe Bryce, who, you know, kind of took himself out of the game, so, you know, yeah. And I just think that Coco would have been a good character if she had just been a little bit more active and formed a little bit better bonds. But I also don't think
I
she was as
agree.
good as Sierra. Sierra was a content machine.
Yeah, that she was a contender for every single episode she was in, was she not?
I can check.
Oh, I can check real quick if I wait on to click off of that. My bad.
No, I don't. I have a second thing. I've been
no.
looking at the sheet this whole time.
Oh, okay. No, she was actually only the contender for episode 2. Then her demise was
the grass situation.
Yep.
Episode 3 and episode 4. Yeah.
Yep. That sucks. But
yeah.
She was a contender for one episode, so that says something.
Yeah, she was really strong early game, but almost came on too strong. I think that's just she let power get to her head.
Yep. So at the end of episode 4, which was our double elim, we had them. Let me find this. Where was I? Voting chart. We had each tribe at the end of tribal pick somebody from the other tribe to be exiled for anywhere from 72 hours to 90 something hours. So that's anywhere from 2 to 3 cycles.
Yeah, we really didn't think that through. It just happened. It was 2 cycles at most, but it was just the challenge took a long time because it was the flag making challenge. So both the judging and also the creation, we had to give them a lot of time. So it was like 72 hours just on that cycle alone.
Yep. It was a long time. And also, we didn't plan on exiling 2 people. We ended up having to exile 2 people due to the medevac, just to even things out.
And also because it was funny. We thought it was funny. Like, we could have just cooked the exile and been, like, fine with the swap. But it was funny.
It was fun. Yeah. Plus, they got opportunities in exile. You know,
opportunities.
Yep, they got opportunities in exile. I don't know how much we should discuss advantages and such in podcast. But
we can just say that they were given some options.
Yes.
And
yes.
Yeah, they were given some options in exile, and a lot of advantages have been found. Actually, this is an advantage-heavy season, and some of the advantages have definitely been found at this point, and that's... Oh boy, we're looking for the chaos right now. We're waiting for it to be unleashed.
It's gonna happen. I hope that MILF keeps good on his word, and he actually is chaotic at this first vote, like he said he was going to be in his confessional.
I didn't even see that, and I'm just praying right now.
Mia came back first, and went to Daga's tribe. She seems to be fitting in. Well, at first, I will say at that episode, she was fitting in pretty well. I think people were just really excited to like have a new face. You know what I mean?
And also a new active face, because keep in mind, Mia is a really active player and also a very lovable player. We'll say.
Yeah. I love watching Mia play.
I think everyone does. If you don't, then you have issues.
I agree.
So, with that whole situation going on, I don't think what happened was all that shocking, but it was, I think, the most split vote we've had in our entire game, just numbers alone. Yeah,
it went from Yunan to 4-3.
Yeah, so the person who got voted out that round was Taco. And it was between Taco and Waffle, and I honestly can't really tell. It was more so, it was really messy. And I do think that someone else signed their death warrant on that round. That person being the person.
Absolutely agree.
Yeah, it was a Sierra situation once again. Is this just going to be a turn for Brewvivor, a Sierra situation?
I guess, yeah.
Yeah.
They Sierra'd a little. I always say girl bossing a little too close to the sun. I'm really good for doing that. But we're going to say that people have Sierra'd too close to the sun.
I think someone said that as a quote as well, which is, it's on the
Typo did.
Yeah, Typo did. But yeah, with Taco, I don't really remember what happened. I just think that What happened there was people wanted to vote Taco, and some people said, no, we're not going to do that. Especially, I think, Max and Credible were really against it. They did not want Taco.
Yeah, so Taco obviously isn't going to vote for Taco, but yeah, Maxer and Credible were really tight on their stand, and they thought that, wait a minute, I'm looking at this voting chart.
Yeah, no, it's like that.
Oh, that's, okay. That's messed up.
Huh?
I think that's messed up.
Where?
Oh, okay, no, that's Yukiana. JK, ignore me.
Oh my lord.
The blues confused me. I saw the blue and was immediately thinking of like Rune and Hex, and I was like,
no, this is like a Scion, but yeah, whatever.
Yeah. Television static in my head. Anyways, back to the topic. Yeah, I think they underestimated John K sticking with Jude and Typo. They didn't think that was going to happen.
I think they underestimated more so than John K sticking with Jude and Typo. Because the reason John K even stuck with Jude and Typo was because Max made the fatal mistake of throwing two names to Typo, I think it was, and to Jude. And Jude and Typo immediately spilled to both Waffle and John, who obviously aren't going to be fine voting themselves. And also aren't going to be fine with other people going for them.
Exactly. So they did what they had to, and they flipped. And, you know, I honestly can't say I blame them, because, like, I would have done the same thing. Like, this is a game of Survivor, and, I mean, the point is to, you know, so I think they definitely embodied that in this round.
Yeah, and I think, honestly, I'm less surprised about the way the tribal played out, and more surprised that they didn't flip onto Max. Because if I'd been in that situation, I might have actually done that.
Honestly, yeah. Like, I would have just probably taken out the most chaotic person at that point in time. But then again, they might have been too scared to. You know, like, I don't think anyone truly expressed that out loud. But I know from my perspective as a player and a host, in some instances like that, you have somebody in a round who really ticks you off because of how they're playing, and you're like, man, I would just rather get rid of this person right here, right now, than to worry about the other two targets, because they're obviously causing so much chaos that I just don't want to deal with it.
Yeah.
But from a hosting perspective, we love the chaos.
Oh yeah, thanks, Max.
So it was kind of interesting to see Maxer survive that, honestly.
Yeah, for sure. But I do think that was another situation of Sierraing a bit too close to the sun.
Yep, because it quickly bit him in the ass.
Yep, we will get to that in a second. We will place Taco, actually. Where is Taco on this? Which one's Taco on this?
Oh, Lord. Taco is the young child.
Yeah.
Yep.
I do think Taco is... I think Taco's still below Sierra. I'm sorry.
I agree.
But
he wasn't active enough and definitely didn't give enough gameplay to even remotely compare to Sierra in that sense.
For sure. So the thing is, like, Taco made it further, but in the end, he's just not... His vote was partially like, it was just inactivity. Once again,
right.
less so than easier. The others, but it was just an easy vote.
Yep. That's all it was.
Yeah. Next person on the list is Gengar, right? No, it's Sharky.
I just lost my shit. That was a very, very, very sad eliminator. That's the thing. We had an eliminator along with a tribal, and Sharky sadly bit the dust. And I'm really sad because Sharky so far had really been girl bossing it up. He was in a wonderful position. A lot of people liked him. I didn't see Sharky going anytime soon, honestly. He was very poggin. He did really well on Rat Jump. He was, I think, one of the highest scoring people in Rat Jump.
He was the highest scorer.
Yep.
Yeah.
Him and Indigo were the highest scoring. Yeah, they were the highest scoring, and he was doing pretty well in all other challenges, and I feel like if he just could have survived the Eliminator, he would still be pogging. So, really sad. Definitely a robbed goddess. I want to figure out a term for Titz Brewvivor for our own robbed goddesses. I don't want to use that term.
We'll figure it out. We'll figure it out later.
Yeah, we'll figure it out later.
I do think that a thing that I've noted before with Sharky, because obviously Sharky's my husband. I've played with Sharky before. He's not actually my husband, by the way. I'm not married. But Sharky is my org husband. I played a lot with him. We play a lot of duo orgs together, and just a thing that I've noted with Sharky is that he's generally a very well-liked person. Just because of how chill he is. Right? Like, it seems like Sharky very rarely gets upset and emotional in a game. He always takes it, like, a day at a time, you know, he's vibing, he's having a fun time, you know, he's cool. And I think that's definitely what would get him far here, because when people are starting to go ham, because this was starting to happen here, like, I'd say Sierra's vote was definitely the turn point when people started making moves. Or, well, trying, anyways.
I think that's when people really started, like, oh, we're actually playing a fucking game. It's time to actually, you know, bring out the claws a little bit, make some moves, and, you know, stand your ground. And I think that's when it started getting good, for sure.
Yeah. And I definitely think that in the case of Sharky, he would have probably chilled, but he would have probably been picked up in a lot of alliances just because he's just so chill. He's so nice. As long as he's active, he's there, and he's usually active and, like, around for challenges and stuff. Like, there's really no way to justify voting out Sharky in most cases.
There really isn't, like, unless there's, like, a great big situation where it's like, oh, Sharky lied to us, or Sharky blindsided us, or if they're trying to get out an idol that Sharky might possibly have, then, like, that's when he'll probably be targeted. But, like, other than that, from the instances I've seen, because I play with Sharky as well, Sharky typically goes very far. You know, he's a very well-liked person, and like you said, he's chill. He makes conversation. He's really good at challenges for the most part. He's not, like, so OP that people are like, oh shit, he's a challenge beast, you know?
Because he still has, like, obviously he got eliminated. Like, he was eliminated, so...
Yeah.
He's not that good at challenges, really. Actually, I'd say Sharky isn't really a challenge beast or really that good at challenges. Because he's generally not really known for being good, especially individually. He's good at team-based challenges. Because he's active. He's just really... I'm sorry, Sharky, but neither of us are gonna be challenge beasts anytime soon. And for individuals, I don't think he's won that many, if any. I think he said he won his first one just the other day. So... Or the other day... A few weeks ago, he was talking to me like, yo, I won my first immunity. And I'm like, oh, cool.
Nice, very pog.
Yeah, so I don't think winning individual immunities are generally his thing. So when he's kind of just thrown in on his own in a challenge, he's usually getting fucked. And that's what happened here, unfortunately.
Unfortunate is definitely the word to describe it. I had high hopes for Sharky.
Man, we just said high hopes for everyone, but...
Well, I was going to say, there's at least, like, 5 players in the season that you're going to hear me say that about. As these podcasts carry on.
Yeah. And Sharky, I'm willing to say Sharky might have even made it further than Sierra.
Honestly, I feel like
he might not have been as big of a personality.
Right.
But he would have been Sharky, right? Like, he's always going to be Sharky. He's very chill, so I think he's above Sierra. Yeah. He would have made it further. And Sharky, I think, is more experienced, too.
Yeah, and the thing is about Sharky is that when Sharky went, everyone was like, oh, Shark. But when Sierra went, everyone was like, that makes sense.
Yeah, I mean, okay, well, it happened, you know? I think some people were shocked because Sierra was looking like she was in such a good position and just, oh, I guess not, you know?
Right.
So I definitely think there were, like, some people that were gonna be like, oh. Well, that I don't know how that happened, but I guess it happened. But with Sharky, everyone was like legitimately mourning because
Yeah.
Sharky went. So
Yeah.
I think that shows the difference that like Sharky in general and Oryx is just people are gonna like him. People are gonna mourn him when he goes. You know.
Yep.
So
R.I.P. the boy.
R.I.P. the boy. So yeah, I think that's all we can really say about Sharky. He would have gone far had he made it.
Right. Of course. Now.
So, next person up would be Gengar, our newest production member.
Yes, we love Gengar.
Love
Stan Gengar.
Stan Gengar. What a fucking king.
Right.
So the thing with Gengar, right? I don't remember what happened with Gengar.
Gengar Sierra'd a little too close to the sun. Gengar died the same way Sierra did, trying to protect grass.
Oh lord, I forgot about that. My god. Oh yeah, that's when the term was coined.
What is up with grass that so many people are just like throwing themselves on the knife for him?
Literally though, like someone was calling him a succubus earlier today.
I agree.
And that's honestly what's happening here. Like everyone's just like, "Oh, my game's fine," and then they just go, "But what if we don't load out grass?" And there's like really no obvious reason as to why they would protect grass. Grass is semi-inactive, and like I'm sorry to say it, but grass is semi-inactive.
He really is. Like, and I don't get how he's. I mean, like, you know, good for like the game.
They.
Yes. They. Sorry. You know, like good for like them. You know, that's awesome that you're surviving like that and that you're pogging like that.
But why?
But how? Yeah, why?
But
like,
why are you alive? You shouldn't be.
Yeah. What are you doing here that is making all of these people just like
literally kill their games for you?
Yes.
Like what is happening here? Like tell us your secrets. Like we can use this to get bitches or something, like, because I don't know, like there's something that's irresistible about grass, I guess.
Yeah, I don't know what he offers. I don't know if there's something going on in the DMs. I don't know what he's doing. They're doing, but it's working for them.
Yeah.
I hope that they become more active and alive so that we can understand this.
Yeah. But about Gengar in particular, I don't think there's a lot to say about Gengar. He just kind of floated away, you know, into the sunset. And then he's too close to the sun, and then, you know. I'm not sure, would you put Gengar above Sierra?
No.
Alright, so I'm gonna say he's probably better than Jar. No, that's Taco. Better than Taco, worse than Sierra.
Yep.
So, yeah. I don't know, there isn't much to say about Gengar apart from just Sierra too close to the sun. There we go.
Yep. Gengar was nice. He was really nice to talk to, but aside from like gameplay and any moves that he did or did not make, there's not much to really talk about.
Yeah. So, moving on then. Yes. Who is the next person? It is... here we go. Here's our third example of Sierra too close to the sun.
Our most recent elimination, and we're finally caught up. So much to talk about.
Yes.
Okay. So this is our last round before we get to merge. Excuse me. I will say, this was crazy. So they played code names here, all right, and it was a live challenge. It took about an hour to do this challenge, and everyone was here for it. Everyone was present. And Yukiana barely by like the skin of their teeth won that challenge. I think that Daga's accidentally giving them a dub in this game, or in the middle of Codenames, actually helped them a lot, because if you remember, on Daga's last turn that they had, they accidentally answered one of Yukiana's words.
I don't remember that because I wasn't awake.
Oh yes, true, that's right. But yes, that kind of fucked up there. Sad to say. But But I think it kind of worked out in everyone's favor, to be honest, because I think that if Maxer would have made it to merge, then he would have survived even longer.
I'm not sure about that, actually. I say this with the utmost love, but Max, this is the second... I think, no, actually, this is the third game Max has played ever. And the first one played out very much like this one. He just talked to the wrong people and made himself seem more scummy and influential than he actually was.
Ooh.
And I do think that's, and I do think that's something that's Max either overplays or underplays, right? Because remember, Max was very inactive in the beginning as well. And then when he started coming alive and playing, that's when we had, like, bad things happen here.
Yep,
so, while Max is an interesting character, he's still learning how to play, and it's very apparent.
Yep, it's... Same thing with Sierra. I think this goes to say for both Sierra and Maxer that once both of these players get the mechanics of how you should function as a literal controlling player, I think they'll both be really good org players. I think they'll both be really prominent. I just think that both of them need to learn how to talk to people and get them to do what they want.
Yeah, they need to learn how to bond a lot better, I think.
Yep.
That's something that a lot of new org players struggle with, and I think that that's very consistent across the board. And I think anyone who's played like a lot of orgs or is like an org veteran at this point will agree that one of the hardest things to learn is to, one, manage your threat level, and two, form close connections to people and knowing when to push. Because you don't want to be a goat, but you also don't want to be, pogging all over, shielding, everyone, and it's not... Yeah, and I think that's what's going wrong with both Sierra and Max, and that's what the reason why I don't think Max would have survived very long in Merge with all these really strong players that are still in the game. Because he would have been caught out. Maybe he would have survived if he got reunited with Mia, but I don't think so. I really don't think so. I
don't think so either, because I think at the end of the day that Mia probably would have sold him out to save herself.
Oh, 100%. So
100%.
But yeah, that's the thing here, and that's something we can see here with this particular vote as well. Is that Mia was the only person except for Max left out of the fact that Max was to vote. Because both Mia and Max voted for Waffle. Which means that people thought Mia was a lot closer to Max, which was true, but was also ultimately not enough to save him.
I know, I wish she would have been in VC, because I was in their VC the entire time. Just about once the game ended, or towards the end of the game, the last round of Codenames, I joined their VC to listen to what they were talking about, and everyone but Waffle was in there. And they were talking about the possibility of going to Tribal, and then once Tribal was announced, Typo, Mia, and Maxer were all joking around in there, and so was Credible. And jokingly, Typo was like, Maxer, type a name into the tribe chat and I will vote for them. And he said Waffle, and everyone stuck onto it for a second. Literally a second. And then Typo's manipulative ass, I love Typo, turned it around very, very, very quickly onto Maxer. And even then, if you remember, I have to think about this. Yes, Credible flipped on Maxer last second. He had actually already submitted for Waffle, and then he pinged me again and was like, sorry, I'm changing my vote, and changed it to Maxer. And I was like, no fucking way. And then they had a live tribal on VC. That's what they wanted, and that's what they got, and everyone was there, and Maxer was a little surprised, to say the least.
Yep, and I do think that Typo is what Sierra and Max are both trying to emulate. I do think that Typo is what both Sierra and Max thought that they were going to be. It's just Typo's a lot more subtle. I just think that's what's going on here, and yeah, I don't think that Max openly pushing a bunch of people did him any favors. Especially when lacking the original bonds from the first few rounds when he was semi-inactive. Mm-hmm. So I definitely, I don't know. I'm not sure if we should. I definitely think Max is above Gengar, but I'm not sure if he's above Sierra or Shark. Because he made it further than Sierra, but at the same time, I think they're very similar.
I do not think that he's above Sierra or Sharky, honestly.
Yeah,
I don't. Maybe if he would have got
Sierra was just further, like more active. That's the thing, right? In the beginning, so in the end, it feels like Sierra had more of an impact because Sierra's vote was the one that's starting all the bullshit that's going on right now.
I agree.
So so Max, strong C tier, very mid C tier though.
I agree as well.
Yeah, so that's us all caught up to our current cast, which they're now in. Is it Dagas still?
No, I put them into Dagas as their merge, and they decided to switch the name to the kill word on code names, to Enigma. So yes. So. I think that's cool. I'm glad they picked out a nice little spooky name. And they're Enigma tribe now, and they are like a smoky hot pink, and I hate it.
I don't like the color pink, period, but then I don't like the color orange. Petition to fucking change the assistant color for next season. I will cry if I have to look at orange more. Please
we're gonna change it.
Please,
we're gonna do another haul over very soon. Very, very, very soon.
And also, I want a promotion. I want a promotion for next season. Sag.
You want to be a co-owner?
I want to be a co-owner.
You want to be a co-owner? I'll let you be. I would love to have you as a co-owner. I think you have really proved yourself.
Yay.
To say the least.
Alright.
Live promotion.
Yeah, let's go! I'm good promoted! My first promotion ever! Let's go! Alright. Right. So, moving on then. I think we can probably just go down the list like this, like from left to right here.
Yeah.
Actually, no. Let's go right to left.
Right to left? Sure.
Because first person then is Grass.
Yes.
And we've already talked a lot about Grass and their succubus abilities here.
Yeah. And we don't
really know what's going on with Grass, honestly. We don't understand what's happening here. We're both just kind of screaming in host chat going, why are you alive? Why are you in merge? How are you alive?
And you want to know what's funny? Is people are making talk right now about like who next boot could possibly be.
Right.
And you know who hasn't been brought up a single fucking time?
I haven't seen it, but Grass is my guess.
Grass.
Bro, Grass has literally been a vote, like an alternate vote, since episode 2. And we're now on episode 8, right? How is Grass alive?
Right. And guess what? Guess who the two contending votes are currently?
Bro, I don't even... Is it like John and... Is it John and MILF?
It's John and Mia.
Why is... No. If they vote out Mia, I'm gonna riot. Okay? I'm gonna be JPEG when you got voted out. I'm gonna be fucking JPEG when you got voted out in VFL Season 2. I'm gonna be mad. I'm gonna be mad ranting. Holy shit, I will throw down. I will be so upset. But that is... Wait, so really MILF and Mia?
No, John and
Mia. Fuck, I'm dumb. What? Okay, so that's really surprising to me because the two people who have really been like the boot alternatives for a long time are Grass and Waffle.
I know, but I think that Waffle put himself into some really firm grounding with Typo and Jude. in this swap. I think it's benefited him in the best way possible. I think he's starting to become more active, and that's really starting to weigh. Now, John has kind of signed his own death warrant. I will say that I'm a smidge surprised that Typo is throwing around the idea of voting him out currently, because Typo has been going back and forth about it in his confessional lately about possibly voting out John soon. But he's like, I can keep John with me. He's a number.
Also,
but,
Typo is they.
Yes, sorry, they.
Yeah.
My apologies.
This is just gonna be us messing up pronouns. We're very sorry to anyone who we offended. We try our best. We try our best. We also use alternate pronouns. We're trying our hardest here, okay? And please don't lynch us. We like being alive.
Two gender fluid.
two like non-binary people messing up other people's pronouns. Pog.
Very pog. Very pog. That's embarrassing. Anyways, they have been discussing the fact of possibly voting out John soon. So to see this be mobilized right now is crazy to me. And I cannot wait to see what happens with this challenge.
For sure. And it's just... I don't know, it's just such a strange situation. Because, once again, Grass has just been very inactive since the beginning. And some of their activity has started to pick up, but it's still very much like below all the top players. Like Mia is definitely more active than Grass. But I don't know, maybe they've started threat purging now. I don't really know, because like once again, a lot of our pre-mergers were inactivity boots that wouldn't necessarily be considered inactive in other orgs, but with this cast, and especially the people in merge, they're inactive.
They definitely are considered inactive.
For sure. And Grass still is, so we don't understand really what is happening here. Like, we're actually gonna have to like bring someone in to explain what's happening with Grass. We're gonna have to bring Grass in to explain why Grass is alive.
Honestly, at this point, because I don't get it. Maybe we should bring in like one of Grass's like closest allies, and then bring in Grass like afterwards and see what they have to offer. Because I don't get it. I do not get it.
I mean, I guess if someone gets booted, we could do an exit interview, because because I actually no, wait, we're merged now. They're gonna be juries. Never mind. But yeah, I don't know. It's gonna be tricky to figure that out without like spilling what's happening in the game to them. But Grass is just such a strange. This is just such a strange situation. Like, this is what we thought Ladner was gonna be.
I agree. This is because if you remember correctly, and 2DK for Ladner, like people were just willing servants for him, and towards middle of merge, and I didn't understand it. I couldn't ever. It never made sense to me. It still doesn't make sense to me. I went back, I read the chats. It still doesn't make sense to me. There's not enough bonding there, honestly, for me to understand it. So I think this is just another case of, like you said, some succubus abilities going on.
Yeah, for sure. And the thing I also am really like... With Ladner, like, I was working with Ladner for a lot of the,
merge?
Yeah, a merge, because I think it was a lot of, like, the enemy of my enemy is my friend situation. I think that was what's going on, because Ladner has a very good social game when he puts his mind to it.
Yes.
And
Yes.
But I don't see this with Grass. At least not that we can see. There isn't a lot of social gaming going on. There isn't a lot of bonding either. So we're just having a hard time understanding why.
I think it might have to do something with the whole Gengar vote, I think something happened there, because I don't know if you had seen, but whenever Gengar came to Grass and was like, yo, your name's being thrown out, the first thing that Grass did is Grass went and confronted everyone. And I think that MILF, Dom, and Sierra, and Dylan all very much so appreciated their flat out bluntness. They saw that as a means to possibly work with Grass, and I think that's why Grass is solid now, because they've fallen under the wing of those four. So I think that they're possibly, like you said, just sucking their way into a good position, and I think that's funny.
But
honestly,
it's so weird. So weird.
It is.
But yeah, for Grass is definitely, I'd say Grass is our first B tier, by the way.
I agree.
Because there isn't much activity, but this is a storyline.
Right? And if Grass was more active, then they would definitely be an A tier, in my opinion.
A or S tier for sure, depending on how active we're talking now. Because this, I think, is our most interesting storyline right now. Why is Grass alive?
I agree.
It's a mystery. We don't understand what is going on.
Yeah. I don't get it.
Yeah. Alright, moving on to Waffle, our creepy guy.
Oh man, Waffle. Waffle doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me either. Like I said earlier, I think that Waffle has just fidgeted his way into a really nice position with Jude and Typo. Maybe Waffle found other people boring, and that's why they weren't talking much.
Possibly, but I also I'm not really willing to give Waffle necessarily the credit for being in with Jude and Typo, because the reason Waffle was brought in to begin with was because of Max's thunder with the vote. Yeah, so I'm not sure I'm willing to give Waffle the credit for that necessarily. I'm not saying Waffle definitely took the chance and ran with it, but the opportunity was created by other people's missteps.
Exactly. So it wasn't even Waffle's doing that picture was painted of them. It was somebody else's doing. And I don't know if he took advantage of that, or if Jude and Typo saw that to their to their advantage. I don't know if they were like, this seems to be a person who obviously has enemies, and is obviously willing to stay in the game. Waffle lately has been coming into tribe chat and communicating with people, hey, I'm at work right now, I will be home at this hour. And then he is home at that hour and he's online. So he's reliable. And he's showing Typo and Jude that he's reliable after somebody else has created this opportunity. They've painted this picture, and now it's working out very well for Waffle.
For sure. So I definitely think Waffle took the opportunity, the chance that was given to him, and ran.
Yep, and hopefully he doesn't blunder it.
Oh yeah, if he trips now, I'm gonna be crying. This is definitely an underdog story we're down to watch, because Waffle has once again also been a vote alternative for a very long time. This is a Grass situation. What is with these two and surviving? That's the strange thing. But with Waffle, it's more understandable, because John and Jude and Typo were not willing to be steamrolled by Max Incredible on the Swap Tribe, and took the chance and brought in John and Waffle, who obviously weren't too fond of being vote alternatives.
Right.
So I definitely think that Waffle can definitely have a great underdog story here.
Yep, I agree. Maybe we should make an underdog category for the next podcast.
Honestly, if we're doing that, we should start putting people into archetypes. We could do that when it narrows down a little bit more. I think right now, I think there's a bit too many people.
Yeah, we can archive all the pre-swap people, and then just keep C, B, add our underdog, and then have AS and next boot and winner pick.
Yeah. So Waffle, I'd say Waffle is above Grass, because he's starting to come into his own.
I agree. He's definitely pogging right now. I don't see Waffle going here or next, honestly. I I think that Waffle will live to see another 3 episodes at minimum.
Oh yeah. So yeah,
Hopefully
that's...
I don't eat my words.
Don't do a JPEG is all I'm saying. Who's this green person?
The person right next to MILF?
Yeah.
The green-haired one? That's Typo.
Alright. Typo! Man, we love Typo. The hosting team loves Typo. And
I think
everyone
Typo...
in game loves Typo.
Yep, that is true. I think that... So here's the thing, like you said, everyone loves Typo, but for how long can they keep up this facade?
Yeah, that's true, and it's definitely like if people... Typo's a very obvious threat, but also he's very subtle. I don't know if people are just not realizing that Typo's ruling everything with an iron fist, or if they're just ignoring it.
The only other person I think who has acknowledged Typo's threat level are... But what's funny about that is
can you repeat, because you cut out, so I don't think the recording picked it up either, the name of the person.
Oh, okay. The only other person who's picked up on Typo's threat level is Jude, and I think that's vice versa. Literally within the last episode or so, Jude and Typo both have said in their confessionals, I really like this person, but it's obvious that at some point I'm going to have to kill this person.
Sure.
And I think it's just going to be a matter of
who strikes first.
Yep, because I don't think there's a world in which Typo and Jude both go to FTC. I just don't see that happening.
If they do, then we're going to have a very competitive FTC, but like you said, they're both big threats, so it's just a matter of who can minimize their own threat level while retaining that the other person is a big threat, right? Like, It's just a game of who can do it better.
Who can fake it till they make it.
Literally. So yeah, but Typo I'd say is an S tier character just because of the control we're looking at. Typo's steamrolling these people. Maybe not all of them, but he's definitely amongst the leaders. They're definitely amongst the leaders. And yeah, it'll definitely be a top riding until they die. If they do.
I agree.
Either they make it to FTC or they get booted for being a threat. It depends on when people pick it up, though.
Yep, I think that either they're going to make it very far and they're going to die tragically, or they're going to go to FTC.
Yep, for sure. And I do think that with all the knowledge that Typo has, especially concerning, Jude and M, for example, and MILF, with concerning their games, I definitely think if Typo goes out, they can take at least a few people with them.
I agree.
If they're willing to explode, they're exploding.
Right. If they're willing to sell out information as they die, then they're going to spoil other people's games. And I hope that whatever happens with them, it is chaotic and entertaining to the end.
Sure.
So yes, I would 100% agree with S tier for Typo.
We can discuss winner pick at the end, I think. But yeah,
yep,
milkshake.
I was just getting ready to say, our brain cell is clicking.
Our brain cell is pogging again, man.
Yeah.
All right.
MILF. Honestly, I'm gonna say it. I think that MILF is probably gonna stay in A tier unless he becomes more active. That's the biggest problem with MILF, is that he just isn't active.
That's true. He is a part of the big alliances, right? He's not missing anything, but it's also that, he's never going to catch up to the big players. He's never going to catch up to Jude. He's never going to catch up to Indigo. He's never going to catch up to Typo. Because those three, I think we can both agree, those three are the front runners at the moment. They have covert threat levels, but they also have threat levels,
Mm-hmm. And they're doing a good job of, like we said earlier, making sure that they're not being seen as these giant threats by everyone. I think that in no world does MILF get to FTC here, and Unless somebody sees him as goat. As a goat status, I'm sitting here choking on my burp currently. I'm sorry.
Good job.
Yeah, I think that MILF possibly dies around like F5.
I think so too. I think MILF is gonna be the drag, but I'm not saying there isn't a chance for MILF to make it FTC. If MILF picks it up, he has a chance. And I think agree. Against most, like a lot of the cast, he definitely has a chance in FTC if he has a good one. But it's just, unless he starts becoming active enough to the point where he can actually threat purge, he's not gonna make it. Because especially with Typo and Jude, he's too close too, right? He knows their games, but he's also, not a big enough threat for the point where they're realistically gonna think he wants to work with them.
I think he's starting to grow away from, or was starting to grow away from Typo, because at one point in time, there was a situation, and it was a Sierra situation, where it's clear that there is a hierarchy between Typo, Jude, and MILF. And it literally goes, MILF is on the bottom, and then there goes Jude, and then there goes Typo. And that's just how it goes. I feel like, I don't know if I would exactly say that Jude and Typo are equal in a sense of power and control, but they're damn near close. Because
and MILF is just at the bottom.
Yeah, MILF will go to Jude with something first, and then Jude will take it to Typo, and then Typo was like, whatever Typo wants to do.
Yeah.
And I think it's just a matter of Jude and MILF threat purging Typo at some point. I would love to have a really strong FTC. It'd be absolutely insane to see like Jude, Typo, and Indigo and FTC. And if people are truly pocking in this game and don't do tons of threat purging, then we may have a insane FTC to watch.
For sure. And the issue is definitely a case of like, are they going to realize in time? Because merge goes by very quickly, and especially with advantages and stuff on the field, it's gonna be anyone's game. Like, a few of these people that we think are on the bottom might be able to turn it around if they're able to befriend the right people or find an advantage.
See, right now, MILF has an advantage. I'm gonna go grab MILF's submissions to figure it out. So MILF currently has an upside down pigeon. And if used correctly, that shit can essentially be an immunity item.
Oh, for sure. And it also will throw like a lot of chaos in, because with a normal vote, because an upside down pigeon makes it so that the person with the least non-zero votes goes home, which means that as long as you vote for someone, they have a chance of going home, as long as they're not like the main target. But the thing is, when you have alliances in normal votes, you not voting for them is you helping them. But in this case, if someone is targeting your ally, you're gonna have to decide, are you going to waste your vote trying to save your ally, or are you going to try and get someone else out, like blindside them?
Yep. Upside down pigeons, and MILF was talking about playing the upside down pigeon at merge, the first merge vote, and because he thinks that it's going to be a very simple and to the point vote. He thinks that no one's going to want to do a whole lot of blundering, and that everyone's just going to dogpile onto someone. And he's going to throw a single vote onto somebody and play as upside down pigeon. But imagine how fucking chaotic that would be if somebody threw a single vote on MILF and it killed MILF.
Bro, that would be funny. The sad part is I can actually see that happening.
I can too.
So MILF is definitely 8 here. Active enough, but just he doesn't have a chance right now.
Yeah, I agree.
Mia. Please, we love Mia. And I will be so sad if Mia's booted.
Same. I have a lot. This is, like I've said earlier, I have a lot of high hopes for Mia. Mia, as we said, is very entertaining to watch.
Very
they're-
lovable.
Yes. Mia has personality. Mia has grace. We love her. We know her.
Yes.
I just don't know how Poggin she is right now. I don't really get what happened here or why she's rubbing people wrong. I do know that Typo and Jude and a couple others were saying on that swap tribe, Dagas, that Mia was really dry and hard to talk to, and for Jude and Typo both, it's very hard for them to connect with somebody when they're dry like that. But I don't think that Typo and Jude are stupid enough to just campaign against somebody like Mia without realizing that other people really, really, really like Mia and other people being Indigo. And I don't see a world in which that flies easily with Indigo.
Yeah, for sure. And like I think Indigo and Incredible are definitely going to fight against it. I don't think either of them are willing to let Mia go, and I'm really hoping that it turns out like that because I don't want to see Mia go.
I don't want to see Mia go either. Honestly, I would love to see John K go here. But I don't know if that will be the case. Like, for all we know, this could literally finally kill Grass. Or Waffle, you know?
I mean, every time it seems like a straightforward vote, it just gets Sierra, so I'm honestly not willing to say anything at this point.
Not willing to wager, I get that.
I mean, we're gonna have to, because we have the next boot category, but you know.
Right.
But yeah, Mia, I think Mia is A tier above MILF or S tier.
I think that she is A tier above MILF.
Yeah, I think that's it. That sounds right. Right, moving on.
Because...
Oh.
Go ahead, you're fine.
Oh no, just say what you were gonna say, because I was gonna move on to the next person.
Oh, you're fine. I was just saying that I didn't quite feel like she was quite S tier. That's all I was gonna say.
Yeah, that's fair. I mean, I don't think so either, because I think the S tier should be very exclusive. So,
I agree.
Yeah. Next person is Jude. And here's the thing with Jude, right? I do think Jude is also a winner pick. But I also have, like, it's the same situation. Like, Typo and Jude are just the same situation. They're both big threats, kind of hiding it, know each other really well, know each other's threat level really well, and they have a big chance of getting to FTC, but also a big chance of just getting nuked.
Yep. And that's because either one or two things is going to happen here. Like I said with Typo, Jude is either going to die tragically or make it to FTC. And I think it's only going to happen if they sell each other's threat levels out to other people. And it's just a matter of if Jude and Typo think that there's a world in which they can have a fair FTC with both of them existing.
Yeah. I definitely think that's true.
Because otherwise, I don't see that happening, you know?
I don't necessarily know if I'd put Jude above Typo, though, because it feels like Typo has more of the connections, and Jude also has the connections. He's the one being brought, like, a lot of stuff from other people, but at the same time, Typo's the one who makes the decisions, and then again, Typo is the one who manipulates people into doing what he wants. They want, so...
Just like I said earlier, I feel like there is a hierarchy, and that I think that Typo's at the top of it. So I would put Jude in S tier, but I think he's below Typo.
For sure. Alright, next person up. John K. I don't know how to feel about this. It's really strange. John is definitely a character, but I wouldn't necessarily say that John's activity is helping him much.
Yeah, I don't think so at all. Like, he's active, but he's not good. Like, I'm not saying that he's a bad player or anything, but like I'm saying, like, he has upset quite a few people. And maybe not even necessarily upset, but made people uncomfortable. And I think people are just overall ready to move on from John K.
I think so, especially, you know, like you said, he's a boot, like he's a contender for merge boot right now, And I think that has been like kind of on the rocks for a while now, that John might become the merge boot. And
Yep.
I think out of everyone, that's the one I could see being a merge boot most certainly, you know?
Honestly, I would feel really safe putting John K in next boot.
I will go ahead and agree with that. I will say John K is probably at least high B tier. High B tier or low A tier. But
Yeah,
I
I
also
agree.
think that John will perish here.
I do think so.
At least I hope so,
next.
because the other option is Mia, and I don't want that.
Yeah, I don't want Mia to go here. I would be so sad.
But
so sad. I love Mia.
But with John, it's... I'm not going to bring in personal biases, right? But the thing with John is he's just less of a character strategy-wise than pretty much anyone else in these higher tiers.
I agree. I think that John K really lacks the strategic side that's needed in Survivor. And that's sad to say, because I feel like if John K could be a better strategic player, I think that John K would play a lot better. I think he would do a lot better if he could do that. I just think he struggles really badly with managing himself in games and managing his social game and strategy as well. I think that the two go hand in hand, and I think that's just something he lacks for right now.
For sure. And I do think that's something that will bite him in the butt for this game at the very least.
Yeah.
But that being said, let's not bash John K too hard. In the end, John has made it all the way to merge. And you know, we might be wrong about John being the next boot, but it's just the way the game looks right now. I can't see John being dragged around for very much longer. Because let's face it, that is what's happening. He's being dragged around by better players, or well, stronger players in this game. For example, Typo and Jude. So it's just not... I just don't see John having any agency of his own, if that makes sense. If someone campaigns against him, he's not going to be able to save himself. It's going to have to be Typo deciding to do it.
Yep, I agree. It's going to have to be a bigger player offering him mercy.
Yeah, there's really like not much to John's game on his own. It's just...
I agree.
It's the same kind of situation as with MILF. Except, you know, on a worse level almost. Because MILF also has that thing where he's there, he doesn't have much agency of his own.
Yep. I think that the only reason that MILF has gotten this far is because he established himself really well with Typo and Jude in the very beginning of the game, and maybe some other people as well, including like Sharky and then Dylan and then
Sierra,
Dom came in, Sierra. Except they didn't really bond. They didn't really like each other. They didn't.
Oh,
no.
I thought they did. Never mind.
But yeah, I didn't see that going very well. Yeah, I don't... Poor John K. Love John K. Love watching him play. He's chaotic, and we love a good chaotic player. I just don't see him lasting much longer.
Yep. Yeah, I think that's very accurate. So for our next player, we have Indigo, and I'm almost willing to put Indigo above Jude.
Same. I feel comfortable putting Indigo above Jude, and honestly, I think it goes to say that she's perfectly equal with Typo.
But I do think they're opposites. Because Indigo is... they're definitely on opposite sides, because Indigo has that little group with, you know, Credible and Mia, who Typo and Jude, along with, you know, whoever they've stringed along, have been actively cucking for the past couple of tribals. I don't see that... Like, I definitely think it's gonna be... I'm willing to say, if Mia doesn't get booted here, either Mia, Indigo, or Credible makes it to FTC, and the same thing with Typo, Jude, and MILF.
Yep.
So one of them or the whole group makes it hefty. Either or. Like, it depends on how much they value each other over the other's threat level, you know?
I agree 100%. I think that right now, we're getting ready to see a lot of sides form, and I can't wait to see where they land. I think the most interesting thing that I don't think would happen would be the big players all lining up and just steamrolling the rest of the cast. And then we have an F5 full of Indigo, Typo, Jude, MILF, Incredible. Fucking imagine that. You know how insane that would be?
It would be very funny, but like you said, I think it's unlikely to happen. Because I don't think they realize just how big of a threat, like, the other side is. But I also think that they're sort of aware of... I think Indigo is more open than the other two about their threat level. So I definitely... I don't know, it's just... It's a strange situation. I don't know how to, like, describe it. It's just two sides, but also there's a lot of free agents, so it could go anywhere. Exactly. And there's also a lot of, like, side deals and alliances too, so...
I think my favorite thing right now is that, and I can't really talk much about them because we're getting ready to get to them at the end, is Credible, and I can't wait to talk about Credible.
Yeah. I mean, Credible's gonna be our final person, so... Let's move on then. Indigo's just a great player overall, but let's move on. Imp.
Yes. Imp.
I feel like Imp's being stringed along.
Yes, I was going to say that he hasn't really given us much substantial content, to say the least. I feel like Imp has been very chill this season, and I think that also has to go with the fact that he was exiled for so long. So I'm really excited to see what Imp brings to the table here.
Especially with the choices he was given.
Yeah,
that's gonna be interesting.
I can't wait to see what he does.
I think Imp might become more scary the longer they let him free reign. But for now, there isn't really a lot of substance to Imp's game. It's just there.
I agree 100%. I think that... Yeah, I think he's just there. And honestly, I cannot wholeheartedly put him in the A category. I would have to put him in B. I do think he's above Waffle, but I don't think he makes A.
Yeah, he might make A based on who we have left, but we'll get to that.
We'll get to that in future episodes.
No, I was more so talking about, like, now. It depends on, like, where we put the other people.
Oh yes. He may rank higher.
We might change it around.
Yep.
Because he's definitely top B tier.
Yep.
Alright, next person up. This is Dylan, right?
Yes.
Dylan, God, I don't really know. There isn't a lot to Dylan, I feel like. Have I missed anything? Is it just because I've been, like, a bit gone for the past 2 days?
I think it's just because you've been a bit gone. Dylan is closer with Dom and Indigo than MILF is, I feel like. I think that Dylan... That's kind of hard for me to just necessarily blurt out, because I don't think that Dylan's in a better position than MILF. But I think that he has the opportunity to put himself into a better position than MILF currently. I think that...
I'm gonna be honest, this just sounds like Waffle.
Yes, he's very similar to Waffle, but, like, the thing about Dylan is that Dylan has wedged himself in with Typo, Jude, and MILF, and Indigo. So it is just a matter of I'm sorry, I got distracted. It's just a matter of Dylan reading the game properly and reading the room properly and seeing who he should go with. Because if all of the big powers don't link up, then there's definitely going to be sides that are going to start popping out left and right. And I think that to Dylan's detriment, he's going to have to pick a side, and hopefully it's the right one.
For sure. And the other thing is, he better not get discovered before these sides are formed and before he's made a choice.
Mm-hmm.
That's also a big thing here. Because otherwise he's gonna get labeled as a snake, and there we go. You know, that's Dylan's game. Gone.
Yep. He's playing a very dangerous game currently.
Yeah. Let's hope it pays off.
I agree.
But yeah, under MILF then, A tier.
Yeah, under MILF.
So yeah, but I'd say Dylan has more potential than MILF right now.
I agree 100%.
Because, like, I think at this episode, Dylan's higher than MILF. I think that could change very easily for next episode.
Next we have... I do agree. I think that this episode and next is really going to tell where somebody like Dylan is going to stand. I've seen Dylan play in many aspects, and I can see him kind of coming undone in his confessional and starting to show a more chaotic side of him. And I think that's really going to start to come out here shortly.
For sure. So yeah, Dylan definitely potential here. We have a lot of potential looking right here. It's just we're just praying he doesn't get found out. That's really all that is.
I agree entirely. And it's just a matter of if and when.
Alright, maybe we need to probably speed it up a little bit because we've been going at this for an hour and a half.
Oh my goodness!
So, next person up is Dom. And once again, I don't really know what to say about Dom. Dom is just like in a weird kind of good-ish social position.
Yeah, I think that he's another case of Dylan. I think that Dylan and Dom are very comparable in a sense of playing. I've watched both of them play. I've hosted both of them multiple times. And they're both very chaotic players. Dom has won a few times before, I think, or maybe just once before. But
I think the biggest struggle for Dom, I don't see Dom winning here simply because the cast doesn't suit him. The cast is just too old to deal with Dom at the moment.
Yep, I think that Dom doesn't have that much longer.
Yeah, I think within the next 3 boots, Dom's gonna be gone. But I do think for now he's above Emp. Maybe.
I do think he's above Emp. Yes, I think he's definitely above Emp because he's in really well with Indigo.
I say B tier, but the thing with Emp, right? I don't really know how that's picked up again, but Emp was really close to Typo there for a while.
Yeah, but right now, well, it's not right now, but he was separated from Typo for a while. Once he got put back onto Yukiana, he immediately linked up with MILF and was like a baby on a mom's tit. Not even shitting you.
Lol. Fucking love that though.
Yeah. That's very fitting for MILF, I guess.
True.
But, yeah, I think that Dom is then better than Imp, but I don't think he makes it much further.
That's true. Alright, so next person is the one you're excited to talk about, and I can't really say I'm as excited to talk about it, but
I just think that Credible has really worked himself into a fantastic position.
For sure. So the thing with Credible, right? Credible is just kind of tentatively... Like, Credible's been separated from Mia and Indigo for a while. And he's also kind of tentatively in with Typo and Jude, but I also don't feel like Typo and Jude really trusts Credible. Simply because Credible is like... Credible, I would say, is the other Revolution leader from, like, Indigo.
I agree. It's like Indigo has created this little swarm of henchmen, and Credible is definitely one of them, and I think it's just a matter of how long can Credible last, and if he can play his cards right.
Yeah, it's gonna be a very difficult situation.
Absolutely, and honestly, I think that Credible might end up in the underdog category once we make that. I just see him making it in there. Like, honestly, and I mean this is the nicest way possible, I don't know how he has made his bonds because he doesn't talk a whole lot. So that's kind of interesting to me. I don't know if he's VCing people out of the server or what, but he's definitely put himself in a position where Indigo trusts him a lot, and now they're back together. So I think it's just a matter of how Credible plays his cards these next few tribals.
For sure. Alright, but Credible, I'd put Credible above Mia on A tier.
I agree, 100%.
So I think this is what our current tier list is gonna look like. So the next thing and the last thing I think we have to say about this is our winner picks. Who do you bet is going to make it to FTC and win?
I personally think that it's going to be between Typo and Indigo. I think it's going to be between Typo and Indigo.
Yeah, I think so too. So should we just put Typo and Indigo up there and just say it's our separate choices?
Yep, I agree 100%. Because I think that Typo will outplay Jude.
I think so too. Why? I think so. It's just a matter of who strikes first once again. So we'll just have to see who has the better grasp of the game to see, when is the best time to take someone out.
Yeah, I agree entirely. It's just like you said, it's just a matter of them figuring out when's the best time to make these moves. I think that it's coming to a point in that I think that whoever wins this game is going to have amazing strategic play. Because I think moving forward from here, every single elimination is going to have a very solid reason, and it's going to make sense.
Yeah, because a lot of the boots before have been inactivity.
Yep.
So yeah.
Yep.
Right, so I think that wraps up our first episode of the podcast. We don't really know when the next one will show up. I guess in a couple of tribals, maybe 2 or 3.
Yep.
So probably next week. Yeah. Which might do it with Gage, maybe, if that's possible.
Yeah.
Because I'm going to be on a trip for half of next week, so I'm not really gonna be around until Monday. From Wednesday next week to Monday next week, I'm not gonna, the week after, I'm not gonna be around. Yeah. So yeah, I think Gage might do this podcast with Witch, and then I'll be back with you. And at that point, we should almost be down to our final few tribals. So I think that it's definitely gonna be a lot of discussing, because logically we should have the strongest players left. Because it's not really like we have a lot of goats in this. We have a lot of potential players and a lot of, really strong players. So there aren't really any goats at the moment. So
truly there isn't.
Yeah, I think everyone has a fair shot at winning if they just play their cards right.
I agree entirely. I think that right now this is anyone's game, and it's just a matter of how, if, and when. That's all it is.
Yep. Alright, so I think that's it, and we will be back whenever we have a chance. Alright.
Yep. Bye, everyone. Sorry for the long podcast. There was a lot to discuss.
That's true. Bye-bye. Hopefully it'll be shorter next time because we don't have a merge.
Yes.
Yeah. Alright, bye-bye.
Bye.